Welcome to the Vibe and Sesh Podcast. I'm really excited about this episode. We have Danger, probably the world's most interesting man in the glass industry.
It's possible.
Welcome to Washington, D.C. I mean, he told me he was going to be in Washington, D.C. last week, and I said, we need to rearrange all schedules and make this podcast happen. So shout out to our guy in the back, Dom. Thank you for moving your schedule around, and we're really stoked on this one. So, Danger, start us off here. Where are you in the world?
A little bit of everywhere, all the time. I just did a run with the RV I was in Austin, Texas, and then went out to New Orleans and had a good run out in Austin. Some good, some bad. Blew out my engine. Had to get a full engine swap.
Oh my God! On the road.
Lived in a junkyard for a month in Austin.
Legit.
Damn. Yeah, like in the junkyard, like with the junkyard dogs, everything.
Were they nice?
Yeah, they were awesome, dude. I kind of loved living in that junkyard. It was sick, but it was a good run. Then the's homies out there, so I was
quite the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, like Salt's out there and some other buddies. So
I thought you were about to say like some junkyard homies.
I was
word, bro. You're already like connected.
Junkyard dogs.
So give us some background. How did you start getting in touch with this industry? Where did you come from? What do you do? Give us some background here.
Sure, yeah. So, I was living in Burlington, Vermont, and I had I was doing a sticker company with some homies.
Sure. Nice.
One of my business partners was like the creative director for Burton at the time, so he kind of started this out of house in-house sticker company, and then we started picking up other clients and local homies, and it kind of started popping off, and so we decided to start up this like streetwear kind of boutique shop too.
And what were you doing for them at the time? Were you doing design work or graphics, or were you just like kind of grinding it out?
Yeah, I was like doing mostly like the graphics for it. And
sick.
We all kind of had our role. I had two business partners at the time, and then, when we started the streetwear shop, we kind of started this like house brand of like different kinds of streetwear stuff, and we're doing some weird cut and sew stuff, and it was cool. It was fun. We were throwing some cool parties and stuff, and we were right next door to Burn Gallery, which at the time did this event called the Pipe Classic.
Sick.
That was like a pretty legendary like pipe event. Like they kind of wrapped it up a year or two ago. But
yep. Were you familiar with what it was at the time? Were you hip?
No, I had no fucking idea. I didn't know about pipes, anything.
Sure.
But we were next to them, and so Tito and Michaela from Burn Gallery used to come over to the shop, and they were like, we throw this big event, and it's like this glass point thing, and we have these parties and rent out these beach houses, and like you should come
awesome.
Hang out. And so I went to the Pipe Classic, and then it was like wild. It was insane. And then like that's where I met Coil and Rhino.
What year are we looking at? Is this one of the first ones, you think?
Was that like your introduction into kind of the glass scene?
Oh, for sure. I didn't know shit, and then I just kind of like met those dudes. Dude, it must have been. I'll follow up on that. I don't even know, dude.
No, that's fine. It's one of the earlier ones.
It was probably like 8 to 10 years ago. It was whenever, but it was sick. And then, so I met Coil and Rhino and some other dudes, J-Red, and I was just kind of like, oh, you guys make bongs? That's cool. And I was like, you guys like skate? Because they all kind of seemed like they did. And they're like,
sure.
Yeah. So I dipped out with them and took them skating around Burlington and in Vermont.
That's sick.
And we just kind of had a day of just chilling and cruising around.
Did you know these guys were like legit glass blowers at the time, or
no,
were they just cool guys that were
they were just
Pipe
cool
Classic
guys? Like I didn't get the whole pipe thing at all, and then we just kind of hung out. And then I didn't realize there was like this whole scene, and then I like saw kids asking them for autographs, and so I saw like their Instagrams and like all their shit going on. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, what the hell did I just fall into? Did you smoke with them?
Secret society.
Yeah, and then Pipe Classic party and stuff, and I showed them my sticker shop and all my stuff, and they were like, we want stickers and we want merch and design and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
So I started rocking with them, and they were awesome about kind of shouting me out on Instagram. So my Instagram started to pop off. And then 6 months after that, I ended up moving in with Coil. And Coil, I sold out of my old companies, and I was kind of burning out and having business partners and all this shit. I kind of wanted to just do more of my cooler design work than the shit I was dealing with there, and I was over running the shop and everything. So it just kind of worked out. So I bailed on that. Where was this? This was in Burlington.
So you and Coil were living in Vermont together then?
No, Coil was living in Philly.
Oh, so you bailed on Vermont completely.
Yeah,
You're like, fuck it, I'm out of here, dude.
Yeah, he moved up.
He's always been a drifter.
Yeah. So Coil, he came to Burlington for the Pipe Classic, and then we kind of hit it off there. And then, 6 months later, I just moved into Coil's spot.
You're like, fuck it, dude, I'm out. That's awesome.
And that's kind of where, like, Danger Visual. And I've been kind of picking up little work here and there from some of the glass stuff was starting to kind of ramp up more. And I was like, I could just do that. Like, I don't need to deal with all this other shit. And I can just do my own thing with this.
That's sick.
And so Coil kind of wrote the business plan for how I could get this set up and get it running. And he was like, he kind of like really put me on and made sure, he's like, everyone uses fucking Danger Visual from now on.
That's fucking awesome, bro. That's awesome.
He kind of lined it.
And you need your boys to like support like that, you know, especially as you're transitioning, especially going from a new place, you know, going from Vermont to Philly, you're like, holy shit, this is already a change. What am I going to do? How am I going to make money there? How am I going to live? You know.
I mean, he's smart like that too. He's got that business mind for sure.
Yeah.
So before then, you're doing a little bit of sticker jobs for some of the artists that you had met from Pipe Classic. Then when did you kind of get out of that realm? When did you start working with some of the shops?
It took a couple of years, really. It was weird because I kind of like the first guys I was working with were like kind of the top dog glass guys, and then from there I started kind of going down the chain and started getting into like more of dudes that were like starting up in glass, and then the shops and like dispensaries, weed companies.
And what would you do as far as graphics, logos? Yeah,
logos, stickers, T-shirts, merch, various whatever. Lots of weird stuff would come along. Like I did like JD's suspenders at one point. So I did I did a wingsuit for Gabe from Tea Leaf. He's like a skydiver, like wingsuit dude. So I did like a crazy like custom wingsuit that was like this fighter plane thing. It was sick, and all kinds of weird passion projects and weird shit people would kind of throw my way.
Now you had left your old gig where it sounded like it was a lot of the printing and stuff. What did you use for printing then? Did you still have to maintain those connections in Vermont? Or?
Yeah, so I had I kept it cool with my old business partners, and so when I dipped, like everyone wanted stickers, and so I kind of kept feeding all my sticker business through them
okay,
still,
cool.
and kind of kept it tight there.
I'm doing my own thing, but we'll still work together. It wasn't like a fuck you kind of situation.
Yeah, it was all good. And then I actually kind of like, they got bought by this big like investor dude, and he kind of like took over and changed a bunch of stuff, and it kind of fucked up the agreements and some of the stuff we had going with them. So I kind of switched it off and actually went with started working with my other business partner that also started a different sticker company.
No shit.
So it kind of bounces around, but
I mean, from all the travel you've done, you probably picked up a lot of like eclectic connections.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm sure you have one of the more interesting networks out there. Right?
Yeah, it's wild, dude, because it's like doing like traveling with this the way I travel all the time everywhere, and like every city I kind of end up having homies in, or like people will just be like, oh, you're in my city, like come hang out, I run a restaurant, or I got a guest house,
which
or
is so
like
sick.
Come kick it. And so like everyone just like is like your best friend in every city, and they're always like, I gotta show you like the coolest shit, I want to meet you to like I want to introduce you to the coolest people in this town, like they always try to like put you on, so it's super awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
that's
like,
awesome.
That's one of the coolest parts
track.
about traveling, is just being able to like loop in like all these random places, like so tight.
We definitely feel similarly about our networks now.
Yeah,
we feel like all the travel the past like 5 years.
Yeah. Holy shit, we can go into any city and there's somebody there that is down to take care of you, down to pick you up from the airport, down to at least show you some good time and hospitality.
Dude, it's so cool.
It's like the good part about the art scene and like the glass scene, collecting scene in general. I feel like, because a lot of people are like open minded, which is nice. Like not a lot of people are stuck in kind of traditional like routes of society.
Yeah, it's crazy how tight people are in this community. Like, it's just like it's like once you've kind of been like vetted and you're like approved by like the game, like everyone's like, fuck yeah, like all right, we're best friends, like automatically. Like, you can fucking stay at my house, you can do whatever.
Yeah, like, man, the amount of artists' houses that we stayed at too.
And like naturally, I feel like all the like overlap and people are into similar stuff, even like the skating culture, graph culture, like other things like that.
Yeah.
They're similarly like hard to break into scenes as well. Like, not gonna accept you if you're a poser.
Yeah, dude. I think one of the first times I met you guys, we were like in Vegas, and I ended up getting like stuck for an extra night or something. And you guys were like, "Oh, we got this pimp hotel room, and you can stay in the hotel room."
Yeah,
and
bro.
Like, there's some shrooms in there. Like, whatever. You guys set me up out there. That was like, I think I met you that day or something.
Yeah. Well, we've been in touch on the interwebs, but of course. So I know that you moved to Philly. It was really like crazy time. You were starting to get all this work. Was there a time that you thought maybe you made the wrong decision moving to Philly?
No, dude, never. It was so fun.
You were just like, I'm there, bro.
I feel like you fit in great in that city too.
It was so rad, dude. It was such a cool time and place in Philly right then too, because like that's when like Crushmore was like at its like peak. Like everyone was like super tight, was just doing super cool shit together, and there was just like this awesome super like Piper's Row was just popping. Like everyone had their studios, everyone was just trying to like make the craziest shit they could make. Like I think I moved there right when Front Street Gallery did the first show ever. Like when they had like
what was it?
It was like I think it was like a group show. Zach P had a bunch of stuff, and Coyle had his like monster truck with like WJC and Elbow and stuff, and it was just like the first like group like Philly fucking showcase.
Yeah,
show.
I remember that monster truck. That shit
Bring
was
it all
hardcore.
on.
Yeah, that was like right when I moved out there, and it was just like it was rad to kind of just get in the mix with all that. And
It's
100%.
interesting to see how Philly's like had waves. Like now it's like a new guard. It's like a new generation of artists coming up in Philly.
Yeah.
Like in the same Crushmore spot, and
yeah,
it's like cool to see the transition and the fact they're like kind of trying to pick up the torch and run with it as well.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Parlay,
Salem
you've been
right
out.
there,
You
too.
went out to Parlay last year too, right?
It was awesome, man.
Yeah, it's pretty tight to see that like coming back.
Yeah, because it seemed like, you know, there was like that peak Philly when
Yeah.
everyone was like so tight, and then
Definitely.
there was like weird drama years, and there was like all these kind of blowouts in different shops, and
there
everyone
is.
was like going all over the place.
As there
Everywhere.
is.
And then it just kind of all exploded, and now it's like really coming back together. Everyone kind of got some space from each
Yeah.
other and sorted their shit out, and now
Yeah.
it's like tighter than it's ever been. And so that's what's so cool about like Parlay. That's like one of the coolest events I've ever been to, just because it's like that. It's so tight. man.
Everyone coming together.
Everyone's just throwing
It's like
down.
the Tour de
and doing
France
it
of
together.
Philly too. Everyone's like going from shop to shop. I like how
Yeah,
they like
it's just,
feature like
the
cram
look-
like 150 people in like a little fucking shop
Yeah,
area.
it's so funny, like the Wook takeover of fish.
Dude,
yeah.
Mobs of them just like taking over the
Just
streets
roaming
and
under the
running
L.
around.
Yeah. It's good times.
So you're based out of Philly. When did you start really hitting the road more hardcore?
So when COVID hit, I like didn't give a fuck about it, and then one day I went to go get some whiskey, and like the liquor store was closed, and I was like, "What is this shit?" And started googling it, and like freaked out. Like over 2 days, I was like on nonstop on Reddit, like read everything, like lost my mind. I was
Deep
like,
in
what
some
COVID
conspiracy
about COVID, I was like,
holes.
"This is the fucking apocalypse. Like
Right,
I gotta get
yeah,
the fuck
the
out of
end.
here." Like this,
So you were still in Philly up until then.
yeah.
Holy shit! And then you're like, yeah, I need to get.
That's
Yeah,
a,
so
definitely a good time to leave
So I,
Philly.
I skipped back to Vermont to my parents' spot.
Yeah.
And then I was there for like 6 months, and then I met this chick on Tinder, and she was like this real wild like traveler chick, and so she was like rented a cabin in Vermont or something, and I hung out with her like once there and then once at like Ski Mask's house for some reason. And then she was like, so I'd hung out with her twice, like basically that was it. And then she was like, do you want to go buy an RV in Portland, Oregon and like do van shit? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Absolutely.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
that was like the third
So
date.
you met this girl twice, and now she's proposing that y'all going on a joint investment and then run around the country together.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like about what I did.
Perfect, dude. If COVID gets me in this apocalypse,
You
at
know-
least I'm with this rando. You
Yeah,
know?
and I've been at my parents' place for like 6 months, and like shout out my parents, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But
Love that.
I was ready to
Love
like
them.
get out a little bit and do some shit, so I
Dude,
just sent it. And
The
then
COVID years were fucking tight, man. I miss that. There was
Time
way less
stopped.
people out, way less normies out cruising around.
Time
The road was
slowed
probably
down.
awesome for you.
Dude. Well, so yeah, I mean, we moved to Portland, and that RV was like had a blown engine, like it was like some
Right
old,
away?
old Burning Man dude's RV that like
Of course.
he'd moved to like some Guatemalan like commune or something. And
Oh, perfect.
So it was like this
Good
weird
for
remote
him.
thing, and that thing was a piece of shit. So like that was instantly broken, and then we like bought another one in New Mexico, and then
Did you flip the broken one
yeah.
onto some other Porsche? So
No, some dude like he was like that's like it was like this old 70s one. It was like this real.
a classic
And he was like, "Oh,
Winnebago,
I wanted that
baby."
one forever. Like,
Yeah.
that's so sick." And we're
It's
like,
broken.
we're like, the engine's like about to blow, and he was like, "I don't give a fuck. He's like, I already got the right engine for it. Like, I've been trying to build this out."
Wow.
And then he bought it, and it blew up 15 miles after he
No
drove
shit.
it.
He was just
No
taking
shit.
it home and it just fucking blew up on
No
him.
trade
Yeah,
backs,
and
right?
then no, it was a done deal. And then
We were already out of New Mexico.
Bought another one in New Mexico, and then the chick I was rolling with like decided she wanted to go study with like a mushroom shaman in like the Amazon jungle somewhere.
No shit.
So I was like, I bought her out in the RV, and I was like, this
You do
shit
you,
just,
yeah.
we just got
Where
one that
we
works.
go.
Like, you go that way, I'll go this way. And so it was all good. Like,
Was everything else on the relationship cool before then? Like like you just met this
she
girl,
was
bro,
like-
and you
she
just
Dangerous is
traveled
not a
with
big
her.
jungle guy. He's good with the Amazon.
Yeah, I don't know. She was like a very free spirit, which is cool. Like, I'm that
it's
too, I
fucking
think.
awesome.
But yeah,
Where's the
she
coolest
was like
place
a little
that you
too
went
whipped
with her?
out, maybe.
Where's the coolest spot that you went with her?
Oh, like nowhere, dude. Like that like, I don't know, New Mexico. It was like I was just getting used to like road life, and
Sure.
we had a broken thing like most of the time that we were chilling.
Yeah,
and
it was
so that was
probably
kind of
mad
like
stress.
we
Damn,
didn't
yeah,
we
that's a
didn't
lot
I
of
didn't
stress.
we didn't really go anywhere. I was with her for 3 months, and we kind of just like sat around Portland and like sat around New Mexico. But then once she took off, then
On to greener pastures,
I got
baby.
I got
You
it
started
dialed
hitting
in.
it,
Yeah, we
baby.
can start having fun.
it got fun like after she went her way and I got a good rig.
So
and
she's
went-
off
That's
to the
sick that
Amazonian.
she
Now
led
what?
you-
Now what are you doing?
So
Led you in
yeah,
that
dude.
direction.
So yeah, then I ended up getting another rig in Quartzsite, Arizona, and then
So you were like, this is sick. This is like
Yes.
this lifestyle is awesome.
You know what?
I'm about it.
You were talking about Slab City, and like the turning point like happened in Slab City. Like
Walk
I'd be
us
going
back.
through.
How'd you even start to go
Is
there?
that right
We
after
can't just drop
Arizona?
Slab City.
Yeah.
We're going all the way in there, baby.
Yeah,
We're
we
going
need
all
to
the
dig
way into
deep
the
on Slab
slabs.
City.
How did you go there? How did you find it? And then let's get into it.
So when I finally got the rig I have now, it was
Okay.
like in Quartzsite, Arizona, which I'd never heard of, and I thought it was just like some shit in the middle of the desert. And
Sure.
I go out there, and there's just like 10,000 RVs, like all in the desert, and there's just like
Found my
circus tents,
people.
like there's so much shit, dude. And it turns out like it's this shitty little desert town with like 2,000 people, and then every December, there's over 1 million people that go there, and there's like every
Were you there in December?
yeah, and
So
I didn't
you
even.
hit the
I didn't,
fucking-
It was like not intentional at all.
Oh my
I had no
God.
idea
Yeah,
what I
that's
was rolling
dope.
into, but it's like the biggest nomad meetup in the fucking world. And it's every December because there's like all these different conventions. There's like Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and there's like
great name.
Schoolie Palooza is like 300 school buses that just meet up like way out in the desert and have like this 2-week party thing. And there was just all this insane shit happening. So I kind of fell like super deep into that world, like right when
So
I
did you stay for the whole party?
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, where else was I?
You were
gonna
the
go?
guy.
This is my life now.
Yeah,
you know, like
dude.
I was going in. So
That's sick.
I went to all these like crazy like nomad parties and met all these cool people, and everyone was like, oh, you got to go to this party. Like next week is this thing, and so I had to I bought an RV and I had to sell the RV I already had. So I had to like, I ended up there for like 2 months trying to get.
Were
all
you
my
able to flip one
shit.
off to another
Yeah.
person there?
Yeah, so I bought one there and sold one there.
Holy
So
shit.
that took me like 2 months, and then after that, like all the timing worked out sick, because there just kept being parties, like in cool like desert campouts and events and all this crazy shit.
And it's all in the same vicinity?
Yeah,
Where were you-
Quartzsite, Arizona is like insane, dude.
That's
and then,
sweet.
And then some dude that I met there was like, oh, there's like an even crazier spot with like crazier parties and crazier shit. And he was like, it's called Slab City. And he was like, they're having their big annual like crazy rave. Like, you got to come out for that. And I was like, all right, let's do it, dude. Like,
How far is it?
it was like a good couple hours. You know, it was a good like 5 or 6 hours maybe, something like that from
Okay.
Quartzsite.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
But,
it's actually that's pretty close.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And
So
then
that's like,
walk
and I
us-
think that's like a common route. Like all these like road warrior
They hit
people,
like festy
like
after
Quartzite
festy.
is like a major destination.
They
And
stop
Slabs, and like
there.
there's kind of like a circuit for this stuff. So
That's fucking. So what do these parties entail?
so like we went to Slabs and like pulled in, and it was like the mellow night before the party, and then for the mellow night, like these dudes pulled up, and they were like these like crazy like tech bros from LA, but they were like super into like making bombs and like doing crazy pyro shit.
All right.
So like they brought out like all these Christmas trees, and then they brought out like they started putting all these like fireworks in the Christmas trees, and then poured diesel all over everything, and then pulled out, and then like they go into the bus, and like they all go into their little buses, and then they all come out, and they all had flamethrowers, and they were just like
Just fucking unloading on these trees.
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
Shit.
It's one way to decompress from
and
LA
they're
life.
they're gearing up for the rave the next night, and so I was like, this is the sickest place ever, because
Yeah.
I started doing research, and I heard like this place is crazy and all this insane shit happens, but I was like, there's no way it's that crazy. So that night I was like, that was the craziest thing ever, and then I was like, I'll stick around, and then
But it got
and then the
better.
next night was like the rave, and those dudes like bought an RV, and then they were just like everywhere out there. There's like blown up cars and all kinds of crazy shit, and so like they had this huge party, and there was like this dirt bike crew that was just like like crashing into cars and like doing all this weird shit. And then these dudes were like bouncing off cars with the RV and just like smashing cars around with this old RV. And then the RV died. And then the dudes like made a bunch of bombs and like napalm and stuff. And then, like they filled the RV up with bombs and put napalm all over the roof. And then they had like all these dudes like came out of the woodwork with like sledgehammers and axes, and everyone started like painting it and like ripping it apart. And there's like bonfires everywhere and all this crazy shit's going on. These dudes, like dirt bike Mad Max dudes, are just ripping around.
Dude, that is some Mad Max shit.
And then this dude pulls up in a truck, and he had like all these like Molotov cocktail materials. So he had like gasoline jugs and beer bottles and everything. And like rags, and then everyone made like Molotov cocktails. And
like teach everyone.
And then there,
just like, all right, guys,
this is like this is the Molotov cocktail station.
Get ready.
Molotov cocktail station.
There's just one guy teaching,
dude. Yeah,
Professor Cocktail.
But like everyone out there like knew what to do. Like this is part of their. Sure. They do like Molotov Mondays out there. This is nothing. So like everyone makes them, and then like everyone's like all kind of in a circle around it with their Molotovs, and they're like 5, 4, 3, 2, and then everyone like throws them. And then dude, and then I've been having such a shitty time with like this whole like RV life, and it's always like, oh, this is expensive and it's hard, and like what am I doing? Like, is this going anywhere? And like it's such a fucking.
And then you just see these guys blowing them up.
I threw that thing, and it was so like therapeutic, and like I started like all of a sudden I was like crying, dude. I was just like, it was so to fucking blow that shit up, and it was just like so emotional all of a sudden. I was like, whoa, like that was the sickest thing ever. This place is insane, like. And then I was like, I'm gonna like lock in here a little bit, like this. There's something.
So did you find your own slab in Slab City, or how does that work?
Dude,
how do you find a place to stay there, or do you stay in your
slab? No, so, because I was only gonna go for like 2 days. I was gonna go to that party and then keep it moving.
Yeah.
And then I ended up staying for 2 months.
Oh my god! What was your special trick out there?
I mean, everyone's got something out there. Everyone, you like just. It's a video game, dude. You just kind of like approach. It's like if you ever played the game Fallout. It's Fallout in real life, basically. But so the way I found my slab was like there's like different camps out there, like different like settlements, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like basically what it is. It used to be a military base back in like the 50s, and then they shut it down, and people just kind of like they took out all the buildings and left these big slabs, and then people just stayed behind and kind of set up like camps and settlements and stuff. And then there's like businesses, and there's kind of like bars, and there's like music venues and art galleries and all this shit, but it's all off grid, and it's been going for 50 years. So it's kind of like a Mad Max Burning Man society.
So do they like not exchange regular money then?
Yeah,
things?
They have their own currency. It's called a fuck. they're these keys. They took a bunch of keys that say like do not duplicate, and they cut off the key part, and it says like you can get like 1 fuck, 10 fucks, 5 fucks, whatever, and then like you can like buy shit all over the slabs from like different places. There's like a whole fuckonomy. Because like there's all this like drama with it. Like there was a big fuck robbery, and, and that kind of like fucked up the whole fuckonomy. But it's funny because you can like go to the bar and be like, I got one more fuck to give. Like I got no more fucks to give. But like it's their own world, dude. Like they have their own culture, like their whole way they do everything out there. And each camp has its own kind of vibe. Like there's like pirate camp with all these like crust punky like pirate dudes, and like flamingo camps, like the LGBTQ camp. Like they're
just like fully immersed in that.
Yeah, and then
they are like, a flamingo. They're a fucking pirate.
And then there's like skate park camp, which is like there's a skate park, and they have like their own bar and their own like scene. And then there's all these like there's so much history because these places have all been around there. So it's like this used to be this, but then there was that, and like they had beef with like this camp, and all these crazy like wars happened.
So how did you find your place?
So like I met this dude at the rave, and he was like, "Yo, you just rolled up. Like you should come roll with me to Mojo's camp." And Mojo is like, it's like the bougie slab camp.
Oh,
it has the only flushing toilet in all of Slab City.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's like it's the only like paid camp, you know.
Okay.
So like, and it's like.
But what's a fee? What are we talking?
It's like $200 a month.
Okay.
So,
nice.
but she's got like the shower, you know, everything.
Oh, she's got.
But she's like super badass. Like it's a very lawless kind of land, and she's like the mayor sheriff. Like she's like super gangster out there.
Yeah.
So like no one like fucks with her camp because like a lot of crazy shit happens there. Like anything that happens in like the real world like goes 10 times further in Slabs because there's like not really cops, laws, whatever. It's like their own society, thing. So anything that's like fun is gonna be 10 times fun. Like there's cars blowing up all the time, and like cool, great, insane shit happens all the time. But then also like when shit goes like sketchy, it gets like 10 times sketchier.
Yeah.
Because it just
everyone's just
goes
the pendulum swings both
yeah,
ways.
it's like it's just chaos, dude. It's such an insane place.
So did you accept?
So okay, yeah. So the way I got, and then I met this dude, and he was like, stay at Mojo's, and then I kind of like met Mojo and locked in there, and then that's kind of my.
So is that your go-to spot now when you get back? You're in Mojo's camp?
Yeah, and I recommend it to anyone that wants to check out Slab City. Go find Mojo.
Find Mojo.
Don't go near the pirates.
So is your name Danger out there, or Ben, or what?
Yeah, Danger. For a while, it was like they called me Good Danger because I guess there was another Danger out there at one point, but like
he was
a real
Danger.
piece of shit. Like everyone hated him, and then but everyone was like, all right, that dude's like got chased out or burned out. They do a thing called burnouts where like if you fuck up out there and if they want you gone, there's like the leaders of all the different like established camps or like the elders, and they'll meet up, and then they'll send out like enforcers that are just like these like Mad Max badass dudes that are just like go out to
with Molotov cocktails.
Yeah,
out of
like
Slab City.
if they want you gone, like
you're out.
Blow your shit
asked
up,
to leave, and then if you don't leave, like they'll just blow your fucking house up.
Yeah, no, you're leaving.
Makes sense.
You're getting the fuck out of Slabs.
Yeah,
Naturally.
Yeah.
So how many times have you been there now?
I've been probably 5 or 6 times now.
Do you hit the party every year?
I only did it that one year. The timing didn't work out the other. But there's always like some insane shit going on there. And then there's this other spot next to it called Bombay Beach, that's like incredible. It's like the same vibe. It's like it's a little bit less like anarchy and chaos, but it's like an abandoned beach town that like is like this. All these like super billionaire kids kind of took over it and made it this insane like art. They took all the abandoned buildings and stuff and made them like these super immersive like art experiences. It's almost it's kind of like Meow Wolf a little bit, but it's like more raw and crazy. And they have like this huge like art fair every year, and it's like this. It's like a really weird. There's a whole vibe out there, like Joshua Tree, like all these spots kind of have.
How do you get to Slab City? You gotta drive.
Yeah. You just drive out. It's like SoCal.
Sketchy roads, or is it pretty?
It's pretty chill until you get into Slabs, and then they're pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
and it's like the desert too. So like there's like sugar sand. Everyone gets stuck out there all the time. And
what happens if you get stuck? You cooked?
You gotta hit up DNA. DNA is like the local superhero that's like this badass person that has like does this insane like welding shit, like makes like, these crazy like Mad Max structures everywhere, and he's just like has this big ass truck, and he'll like come out and like dig like jack you out of there. Everyone in Slabs like has like their own
purpose
vibe, like their own purpose for the community.
Yeah.
That's
wow,
their
that's
whole thing. So like,
sick.
And everyone's kind of like, oh, you need this. Like this is the guy for that. That's the guy for that.
That's
and, like,
sweet.
And then if you go to DNA, like, is he gonna expect payment of some fuck? Or
yeah,
what?
like maybe some fucks or like maybe some like metal screws or pieces of metal or something. Like
just like whatever's gonna make
Whatever
him
you can
happy.
gather.
yeah,
up.
beer, weed, whatever. Like that's kind of the way their
That's
shit
sick.
goes out there.
Yeah, sure. Do they have any kind of good weed out there? I don't know.
So every bar out there has like slab dabs, and they have like this crusty old rigs, and they have like this.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Dabs, and then some of the bars you can get like a special shot for like $10, which is like a shot with acid in it, and like.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
They let it ride out there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and it's rad though, cause like all the shit that like it's just such a brain melting place, cause like anything that matters in real life, you're like, oh, I gotta get like the right outfit, and I got Instagram shit and like money stuff, and like everything you think that like is like important and like society is like kind of runs on in the real world, like they don't give a fuck about that in Slabs. Like if you try to like flex out there, like they'll like laugh you out of there. Like,
yeah,
that's
like,
not
what are
the
you
vibe.
doing?
Like
get
it's
the fuck out
it just like strips you down. It's just like they're like, what are you about? And it's just like they like look into like your soul. Like you gotta,
Yeah,
like,
that's sweet
you
though.
just gotta like bring it in a different way, and kind of just like you're just like your whole vibe is just like how you interact with people and like what you do in like their little community. And,
Do
like, how
you have a
feel.
hard time readjusting to society as normal?
Yeah, dude, I can't do it after
You're
that.
like, yo, what the fuck?
Dude, I think about that place every day. Like, I'm obsessed with it now.
You gotta trip back.
I feel like every place, every like state should have its own little Slab City for like this kind of
outlaws.
Probably fuels some of your art and creative like
for
ability
sure,
too. Some of that shit you were drawing on the plane on the way over here is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then there's like glass blowers out there too that I kind of pass through, and they set up like off-grid glass blowing studios
Sick.
out there.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then
So you're saying some people are trans in and out, and there are a handful of people that live in Slab City year round too, right?
yeah, so in the summer it's like 130 degrees there, so it's like the super hardcore ones
Slabbers.
stay. Yeah, the slabbers. The rule is you have to stay for 2 full years to be a slabber. So through 2 full summers to be an official slabber. I'll never be that. Like it's
Wow.
I'll never do
crazy.
that. And then so it's 200-ish, 300 people in the summer, and then the winter it's like 2,000 or 3,000. That just kind of like pull up.
People
like,
all right,
seasonal.
the temps are cool.
Yeah,
let's
but
get
like
the fuck out of there.
I met like this chick out there who'd been out there for 25 years and hadn't left. 25 summers of that shit.
No shit.
Holy
And it goes, dude, it goes crazy in the summer. Like, so everyone just like loses their mind because of the heat. So just like crazy shit happens and like people just like die a lot.
Yeah, I
because of
bet.
the heat, and just like being insane and just crazy summer
Do they have
drama.
burial rituals out there, or is it just
Yeah,
free for all?
I asked about this because there's like they love animals. So like there's like 3 different pet cemeteries and like there's like pet refuges and like they like really take care of that. So I saw all these pet cemeteries and I asked Mojo, I was like, what's up? Is there like human cemeteries around? Like where do they bury all the slabbers? And she's just like, well, there's a lot of holes in the desert we don't talk about. So I think if they pass of natural causes or other causes, you can kind of just disappear them out there.
Damn.
All right.
That's what I figured, though.
But
Yeah.
Love how they have 3 pet cemeteries, though.
Yeah, they love their pets there.
No, it's awesome. So, bringing it back to the industry a little bit, Bad Boys Club. Where did the idea from that come? How did that really start?
It came from when I was living with Coyle one time. Danny White, Ethan Windy came to stay for a week or two, and I turned it up pretty hard the night before he got out, and I'd gone down like every pole like on the L between like Crushmore and my old apartment, which was like 7 or 8 blocks away, and I just tagged them all. I was like, Bad Boys Club, Bad Boys Club, Bad Boys Club, and I was like kind of like blacked out when I did it.
Yeah, perfect.
And then I like met up with Danny at the studio at Crushmore, and then we were like walking home, and I was like, oh, we're in Bad Boys Club territory. Like I was like, I tagged this one last night, and then I was like, oh, I guess I tagged that one and that one. And then like, and we were like just like laughing about it, and then so we just like that week or two that Danny was there, like we just started tagging like Bad Boys Club all over and shit. And it was like just like a little joke thing, and then we kind of kept doing it, and then we started doing it as like it would be like when we go to trade shows, we'd be like, oh, who's in Bad Boys Club here? And it was just kind of like the homies that we'd always like rally with, and like the kind of the crew that was just like the we'd always just hung out anyway, so it was just kind of like that was like the crew name. And then for like 6 or 7 years it was just kind of like a joke, and it was just like nothing. And then Sebastian from Ziggy's in Miami was like, Art Basil's, let's do something for Art Basil. Like, let's do it. He was like, let's just do it. Like, if you and Coyle want to come out and do a show together, like, that'd be awesome. And so we were like, let's bring in the boys for this.
Yeah.
Let's go big with
Squad
it.
deep, baby.
Yeah. So we decided to turn it into like a big ass group show. And everyone was like super psyched on it, and we kind of did it all with like themed Bad Boys work for the show too. And it was kind of the idea too, is that like this is like the Bad Boys of like the art world too, because everyone in Art Basel is like not really putting the respect on pipes that it deserves. Like that's sort of changing, but it was kind of like that energy too of like, yeah, like we're like the bad boys of the art world, like making
especially
pipes.
coming down.
Was that the first year or the second year doing that? You did like the beer bong hat?
Oh yeah, that was the first year. And then it was so sick that I liked that it was, a lot of like the Bad Boys members are like super have their separate world of like fine art stuff that they're kind of getting in with. So
absolutely.
It was cool with like, Z and like Sibel and all like a bunch of the other artists, Mickelson, and like they would have all their shit in like the real shows like Scope and everything, and then at night they would come to the Bad Boys show and they'd have all their pipes out. So it was like the same artists like in both worlds, like in Miami doing the same shit. And we had to have the Bad Boys themed activities and stuff. So we had like
the bottle smash for the kids.
Wall.
Yeah, that was
always a big hit.
Dude, you had that like laser grid too. And you guys put like Bad Boys up on that building, that like skyscraper next door. That laser projector was fucking dope.
That was cool about both years. doing it, like random people would just pull up like, hey, I got like this band, can we just like set up and play? And like, oh, I got this like laser projector, and people would just like come out of the woodwork just trying to
random
trying
shit
to throw
make it more
down
hype
for the party.
Yeah,
and it was
sick.
sick. Like people just, oh, I got like a case of like beers or whatever, like I work for this company, you can have all this free shit, like so kind of like last minute a lot of cool shit came together. And then we had the skate ramp, and then graffiti guys doing stuff, and like tattoos. And
you think you're gonna do this V3 this year?
I might do something different this year. I think I want to do a kind of a skateboard themed Bad Boys show at Parlay.
Yeah, that would be fucking
and
sick.
I got some other ideas for because I did like it was just a general Bad Boys theme, so I kind of think there's some fun other themes that we could play with, and like that are kind of on the right vibe, and fun ideas for different kinds of weird shows and stuff. So I mixed it up a little bit, but I think maybe like next year I'll go back to Miami. That was a lot of fucking work. I had to call in like every favor in the world, and it was like chaos, dude. But
it's exhausting too. It's like so crowded down there.
You know, it's like the right people are throwing them, and they're able to pull in the right aspects of the party. So
because you know, like I feel like I've been to a lot of people's shows and events, and like they can be a little sterile. Like the vibe's kind of just like, oh, like here's a gallery, don't touch anything, just kind of like walk around, take a dab, and like leave or whatever. Right. So I kind of wanted to do something that had more going on. So I was like, I'll try and have all these weird activities and events and like.
Dude, people are getting into it. People love the activities.
Yeah, because I have ADD, so I gotta like I need a lot of stimulation.
Me too.
I was throwing a party for me. It's like,
dude, the bottle smash was like particularly triggering to people though. Every time they heard like a big glass like shatter, they're like, oh shit. They're like,
so
now we're getting table collapse.
Yeah, dude. And then late night, it was so funny because like the bricks break, everything breaks when you throw the bottles. Yeah. It's a pile of like broken glass and rubble. And then Scuba Steve showed up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and he had like Laceface had come by earlier and dropped off like one of her like insane like $100,000 trees. Yeah. And we had that just kind of in the case in the mix with the show, and then he took it out of the case and just like put it in the rubble, and we were like taking all these pictures of it. Some shit around it. It's awesome.
People were also beaming that garage door behind it.
Yeah, I can't believe they let me do that party twice in a row.
No, it's sick.
Well, it's sick. I mean, you got something that's got some legs under it too. You know, you're able to take that Bad Boys Club theme and idea and group and kind of do different things like the skate idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's been cool too because like I made so many of these friends like along the way and just doing stuff, and like they always kind of put me on and were like helping me out and stuff, so that felt like a cool way to like rally all the homies up and kind of make a bigger impact than if it was just like, this is the Danger show.
Right. It's not as much as,
you know, it's like
pizzazz.
Yeah,
no,
it's just everyone's kind of really on the same program, and you know, it was so sick watching all the work to come together, and everyone's collabing and just making such a cool body of work for that show. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, bringing a little bit of Slab City to the streets.
But yeah, that's where I got the bottle smashing from. Is like there's a library in Slab City, and it's like there's like a bar in the library. They do tattoos, and there's a bottle smashing wall behind the library. That's kind of where I picked that idea up. So there's a lot of other like slabby ideas I want to bring to.
There's a bar like that in New York City too. You finish your drink and then you just take it into the smash room and you just chuck it as hard as you can at the wall. It's just such an awesome feeling throwing that cup. You know? Yeah,
it is a nice release. But yeah, I'm stoked to see what you put together for Parlay this year. That'll be tight. Definitely go through with that.
Yeah, I think it'll be something. It'll be cool.
You're a man of many hats. I know that you've been doing a lot of work directly for the artist, but you also, I don't know when it started, but started to do more work for the shops as well, doing the shop posters.
Yeah, like your T-shirt there.
Yeah, you got one from E-Vapor that you did. So when did you kind of transition a little bit from the artist to a little bit more of the shop work? And
yeah, Peace of Mind, Ruzi really kind of kicked that off. Like, there was a night in Vegas where it was in Atlantic City, and I used to just roll the shows with like no money, no plan. I would just be like, I'll fucking sleep on the casino floor.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure this shit out. Like, so I was at a show. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I just like, Ruzi sat next to me at the bar or something, and he's just like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, I like your pendant, whatever. And we were just talking shit. He was like, what are you doing? Like, where are you staying? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just here for the show. Like, and he was like, oh, you can, like, sleep up in my room. And so we, like, that was it. And then, like, ended up crashing. And then he had, like, down neck was like in this bed, so me and Ruzy just like spooned it out and fell in love and started doing all this work together.
No better
and
guy.
That was Boro Doro days, whatever. But and then I started doing everything with Ruzy from then on, and that
so
was
you're doing
like,
all this show
before Peace of Mind even started. He had another
shit.
thing that he was doing, like this distro.
Yep.
So I started doing some stuff with that, and then he pretty quickly opened Peace of Mind, and then we'd like started super rocking hard.
So you've done all of his design work. All
yeah,
of
dude.
his
Like
stuff from day one.
on my computer, my Ruzy file is like insane. It's like the most chaotic, like massive file because it's like I don't even know how many fucking years now, but there's like hundreds of posters.
Dan, you should put a Ruzy book together. That would
dude, yeah, Ruzy book would be cool.
Did, actually, yeah, we did. We didn't do many copies of it. I think he only did like 10 of them, but they're out there, and it's
everything.
It's like a
I gotta hunt down a copy.
And it's not even everything. We had to like slim it down.
Pick the winners.
Yeah, because there's so many, dude.
Is there a design that you've done for him or in general for any of the stores that really sticks out to you?
Yeah, there's been some really sick ones. One of the coolest ones I've done in glass was the Molten Classic. I've been doing those for the whole time too, since the beginning of that.
Nice.
And Hoobs will kind of hit me up for like with a theme before they make anything, and he'll be like, "We're doing like a monster truck theme. We're doing." The spaceship, whatever, and I'll kind of come up with a graphic that just kind of represents like the vibe of the energy of it. So, with the monster truck one specifically, that's all he told me, and so I did the graphic where it's kind of I based the graphic on this dude, Ed Roth, that's from Huntington Beach, where all that happens, and he's like this iconic illustrator that did a lot of like Rat Fink, Hot Rod stuff. So I wanted to kind of do like a Hot Rod, like Rat Fink, Ed Roth monster truck. And his thing was he always had like this monster kind of like popping out of it, like shifting gears and
like
stuff.
A big,
Yeah, so
big body.
I was like, I want to do a big ass monster truck with like an Ed Roth, like a skeleton and like popping out. So I drew the thing up, and then Hoobs like hit me up when he saw it, and he was like, dude, that graphic's so sick. And he was like, we're gonna base the build off that graphic.
That's sick.
dope.
And I was like, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And then they made the piece so sick, and it has the skeleton popping out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So like that was probably the coolest, one of the coolest jobs ever for glass stuff.
Yeah, that's dope.
Because that's such an epic piece, and that was like.
So you're like illustration inspired. That's so sick, dude, as well.
And then it's so cool to watch, like, because I think there was 20 artists on that piece or something. So to watch everyone kind of like bring this,
find their own little lane within the big project,
dude. And I love watching like the 2D go to the 3D, like the computer shit go to the.
Dude, it's like mind blowing. Some of the group that they've done, they did that school bus too, like last year, 2 years ago. That shit was awesome too. Yeah, the Simpsons bus was nuts.
And then the big robot, the Hulkbuster, that was like
a
fun poster too. Whatever.
Where do you find your inspiration when you're going into a new poster or new design project in general?
It's pretty varied based on what it is. Like sometimes different people will have different levels of like input of what they want to, how much they want to kind of control what comes out. And Ruzy's got like a great balance of like just giving me like just enough to like really bite into it. And he's always kind of got cool concepts and stuff. So
that fits their vibe really well though too. And the Temple of Doom crew, I feel like they're all into that like Rat Finky type of art too.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
And then I think what's cool, a lot of my stuff goes back to like growing up skateboarding and like punk and
definitely
all this like street art, graffiti shit. Like those were like what I thought was like the coolest art. So it's cool that like a lot of my favorite illustrators from that world that I was always kind of like, oh, this Jim Phillips and Sean Cliver and Mark McKee and all these dudes, like that's kind of the energy that like I was putting into my art, and then it ends up being like a perfect fit to kind of represent a lot of the pieces because it's the same kind of like characters and kind of exaggerated things and stylized, and that kind of aesthetic like lends itself really well to like representing glass. When you look at the graphics of that world, like it's kind of it's sharp, it's like solid lines and shapes, and like it's like ended up being a really good fit, so that kind of worked out really cool.
It's sick.
Kind of crossed over because then that was kind of also like my roadmap to like figuring out like how this industry worked, because I feel like I watched your one with Banjo, and Banjo was talking about how it's like similar to like skateboard culture and the scene and everything, and that was like an immediate connection I made too. It was like, it's kind of definitely, it's like kind of this grassroots thing that like blew up, and there's like so much skill involved, and it's just like a very tight community thing. It's very creative, and it's very collaborative, and everyone's kind of building off everyone else's stuff, and just the way that it's kind of risen from like the grassroots to the mainstream, and it's kind of following a lot of that, and then it's also kind of following a lot of the stuff that's happened with street art and graffiti, and how that's kind of really
it's a good mix and everything.
No, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's definitely a common.
Yeah, so when I started going to these shows,
comparison.
I was like, this is just a melting pot of like my favorite things. So, like I love the kind of lowbrow stuff, and I love doing stuff that's like a little on the edge, you know, or whatever, and the art and like the community, and like
still skating kind of, aspect too.
Yeah, like the outlaw side of it. The skating's definitely a part. Snowboarding, like this is kind of all the worlds that I was coming from, so it felt like very natural. Like I remember going to my first trade show, and I was like I feel like I've been to the show 100 times already. Like,
right.
It already kind of felt super familiar, and I just like dived in hard, and it was awesome, dude. Everyone was just so cool.
It helps like a lot of those people have like openness in their lives to like go out to some of those parties though too, like some slab parties and desert raves and
and even just like but in my previous life, like I hadn't been exposed to like the lifestyles that people can have in this world. Like there's such a high level of like freedom and like do your own fucking thing and like, live your own way. And,
if you find that path, not that many people find that journey that you found. You know?
I think even since we've quit our jobs, it's like opened up our minds a lot to like the broad spectrum of like what's possible. Yeah, to continue living and like sustain yourself, but like on a totally rogue path is like sick as fuck.
Yeah, to be able to kind of see how to like break out of the mainstream, but then also to have like that success and be like professional and you know doing like being like killing it, but like on your own terms and designing like you know creating not only like cool work but creating like a cool life and like really kind of building out your world the way that you want it to be, you know?
That's really it, man. I was looking for something where my input would be output. You know, that's what I tell John every day. It's like, dude, I feel like we're in these jobs and I work really hard, or I could work 80% and still get the same bonus and raise every year. I was like, I want a place where I can go all the way in, and I know that however hard that I grind, like that's going to control my destiny. You know, and I think that is one of the most freeing things once we've quit our jobs is like, man, people only see it from the outside and they see the Instagram and all that shit, but like on the backside, we're fucking grinding, man. You know, like, it's a grind.
Definitely
to be
a lot
able
of work.
to do all this shit and be able to hustle and be able to do all the moving and shaking.
But it's taking like a flat 2-dimensional line and like making it 4D, and like a lot of these people are like living in 4D, which is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's inspiring to hang out with people like yourself, even to hear some of your stories and like just get out there and experience.
Doing the damn
you
thing,
know,
bro.
Yeah.
So I know that you've done a lot of work for other people. Have you started your own branded stuff, your own path here?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
As of 4/20 yesterday, I just launched my website with my first little merch drop on there. So get it while it lasts. Dangervisual.com or dangervisual.com/shop. It'll both get you there.
What kind of stuff are you going to be dropping and what's on there right now?
There's a bunch of like kind of classics, like some mood mats, t-shirts and stuff, and then it's a mix of like kind of personal Danger Visual stuff and then a bunch of Bad Boys stuff that's on there. And
do you have a copy of your book on there too? No. You got to do some like throwback prints too. That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah,
I've got a decent amount of your stuff. Some originals, some prints.
You got a sick one, the dollar one from that Bad Boys Club.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that thing
those dead presidents. That shit's fire.
Yeah. Right. So right now it's mostly just like merch stuff, but I'm gonna be putting up more like original art stuff there, and then doing some more like limited merch things, and I got some collab things that are gonna kind of be going in there. And I've never had a platform to like sell. It's like the shoemaker has no shoes, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Dude.
Thing. Like,
we're pumped for you, man.
It's nice to have the tech support now too. It'll make your journey in the .com bubble a lot nicer. Fuck websites though, for real. It's a lot of maintenance.
What kind of original art are you gonna be putting out? Paintings, canvases?
Yeah, some paintings, some kind of
clothing,
mixed media stuff. Maybe I want to kind of get more hands on with some clothing stuff, and I got some other. I've got I recently was like starting to get into like lino cut prints and stuff.
Nice.
Have some kind of like hand cut, cool, limited stuff like that. I want to do some more screen prints and.
When you talk about artists and collaborations, who's some guys that you think of that you want to collaborate with?
Oh man,
that you haven't already.
Yeah, outside the bad boys.
Right, like it's weird kind of doing what I do because it's like, it's collaboration because I'm interpreting like their work.
Sure.
But to be like both of us like drawing on the same piece, that's a different kind of collaboration. I feel like I really haven't done like much of that ever. Like it's pretty.
Is that something you're interested in doing?
Yeah, for sure. I guess I think the thing is like there's not many people doing what I do in this industry. Like there's just a small handful, and so it's a lot of collaboration, but of me interpreting glass in like in a different way and kind of.
I feel like that monster truck, like the way that you guys collaborated, bounced off each other's ideas, was like a good example. Yeah, it was a good story to tell for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. There's stuff I've done like that where I'll kind of like, I've come up with a couple of things where I'll come up with like an idea and I'll do like a painting of a piece and then I'll have someone else like make the piece. Like I did this show in Colorado and I did one with Matt Robertson where it was like a giraffe with his like tongue out, but the tongue was like, it was like a big Sherlock with like a big fat ass tongue.
Yeah.
Like it was like a weird shape and then I drew it and then he like made that piece and then like
that's gotta be cool seeing your drawings come to life like that.
Yeah, and then it comes with like the matching painting, so you get the painting and the piece.
That's super nice.
You know,
that's super nice.
Yeah, fuck with that.
And there's been like I drew this thing like a double-eyed monkey face thing with coil, and then Jerry Kelly like made the millie of it, and then they made like a bunch, and Coil made a bunch of like the pieces or whatever. Like and then Jay Worth did one. Like it's cool, kind of like
he's one of the coolest guys. Have you skated with him at all?
I haven't skated with him, but I've hung out with him a good amount. He's the man.
He's so down to earth too.
Dude, he skates like an absolute animal, man. He's a savage. Some of the shit he puts wheels on. I'm
He's been going to some insane. There's this event he goes to in Florida called Swamp Fest.
Yeah,
it's like super slabby, like bike, skateboard, like blowing shit up. Like
I've been invited down there before. I should have gone, honestly.
I want to go this year. It looks so insane.
Yeah, that looks gnarly.
Is there anyone in the industry you haven't skated with that you want to skate with?
No, I'm pretty, like, because there's always, whenever we're traveling, there's always kind of stuff going on. If anyone is watching this and you have a skateboard company or know someone that does, like, I want to do skateboard graphics, so put me on.
Yeah, bro.
I've always wanted to do that. And I never really I did some for like Sure, but little stuff here and there. But I want to like, I would love to do more skateboard.
Come full circle,
dude. Yeah, breaking into that industry would be sick, and your illustrations would fit so fucking well.
Yeah, because it'd be like that's like the full circle, because that's where it all came from. Like that was
the inspiration.
Out, like, being stoked on skateboard graphics, so. I would love to get back deeper in that game, and I've been in Jay Worth's ear about it. Like, oh, what's up with your next promo?
Dude, that's smart avenue to take for sure. But yeah, maybe we'll manifest it through this podcast. Hopefully,
I love that. Do you have any other bigger mixed media projects or anything in the works right now that you're excited about?
It's so, the industry was a little slower this year.
Sure.
It was a weird, it goes up and down.
Yeah.
But when that was going on, I was kind of trying to get other stuff lined up and kind of spread out a little more and get a little further outside of glass. And
where have you been spreading your wings?
So it's been a weird mix of stuff. Like a lot of like seed companies and weed companies have kind of been coming in more. Mm-hmm. So I was doing, and now the glass is kind of picking back up. So that's
like graphics for the cannabis companies and stuff.
Yeah, but then also like there's this dude that I've been doing some stuff with, and he's doing stuff with like a bunch of these like punk bands. So
cool.
I'm doing stuff like last night I was up till 3 a.m. doing a thing for a cereal box for NoFX, and then I got another one with him I think coming up to do some stuff for like Pennywise and all these like adolescents and some cool.
So you're branching,
bro.
You're moving and shaking.
Yeah,
we love to hear that.
And there's
love to hear that.
There's like this. My girl's like real big in the cheese world. In, like, the
we were talking
world.
about that.
So she it's like a super world famous like bougie super fancy cheese company, Jasper Hill. They're awesome. And they've been letting me get weird on some graphics and do some different
cool.
things and
That's
kind of
cool.
mix up the vibe a little bit.
That's
you know,
cool.
'cause
Dude,
they're-
I feel like the cheesy people will dig it.
Yeah, because it's so different. Like
Yeah.
I love trade shows. I crash all these shows. I've been going all over the world to like these cheese trade shows with her and stuff.
Yeah.
Fire.
And everything looks the same. It's all very high end.
Very
it's
sterile.
fancy
Yeah, for
Like, let
sure.
me break this industry, baby.
Yeah, so
Let's
it's like
recreate this shit.
yeah,
It honestly is. It's
so
like
I came in, like they let me do a graphic, and it's like a dirty rat with like a mullet, and he's like smoking a blunt, and he's got a 40, and he's like in a wheel of cheese, like it's a hot tub, and he's just like laid out and like doing all these grimy,
And they're
weird,
running with it.
like skate style graphics, and like people eat this up at the trade shows. 'cause
Dude,
it's
I
so
bet.
different, and they kind of have the clout to like get away with like
Yeah.
getting
Being able to
weird
do
and
it,
like
yeah.
so it's been cool mixing it up, and then from that like other cheese companies are hitting me up to do like
Different
super
designs.
established like legendary cheese companies. They're like, we want some weird shit like that too. And,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
they love kind of going into a different lane.
I feel like
because it
Liquid
stands
Death,
out.
that water company, like really broke in with some of that design
100%,
shit
dude.
too.
I think
Like just
that's-
putting gnarly shit on water
Yeah,
and
dude,
just
Liquid Death
you
is,
wouldn't
like,
expect it.
They're so awesome. Like I love everything they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it because I feel like I can kind of get some of the backdraft off that.
Yeah,
'Cause it kind
I
of sets
agree.
a template for like, oh, you're a fancy, like you can be a real company and have these weird like dirtbag graphics.
Yeah,
and,
a lot of people need the confidence, like seeing someone else do it first, type of thing. So
I just listened to a podcast.
that definitely gets companies on board.
Yeah, I just listened to a How It's Made podcast with like the founder of Liquid Death, and it was fucking awesome.
Oh,
He just
dude, I gotta
breaks down,
catch
like,
that.
his
I
life
love
coach,
that.
and he's on the same
Raz.
shit too. He's just like, yeah, I grew up skateboarding and punk and all this shit, and just kind of like got into like doing some business shit, and just
Yeah.
decided this is like a cool
H2O.
dude. He's so good. Yeah,
Everyone needs water.
Yeah.
yeah.
Facts.
I love that vibe, man. They're so good. But that's the same kind of approach that I think I'm trying to like leech off that energy and
Yeah.
take
Working
that
into
into like the fancy
skateboarding.
food world.
Nah, that's what I'm
and-
hearing with the cheese world, dude. You gotta
Yeah,
bust that industry wide open. That'll be sick.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's funny because I've been going to so many of these events, and like the people in the cheese world are so cool, and like I kind of have like a separate bad boys club in the cheese
In the
industry.
cheese world.
like for going to all these shows,
Cheesy
like,
Boys
all
Club.
the homies. And then there's even like there's cool stuff. Like there's an event in cheese that's like it's like the Pipe Classic or the DFO for cheese, but it's for cheesemongers specifically. So like a cheesemonger is like when you go to the cheese shop and they tell you like what cheese to get.
Yeah.
And they kind of cut you off and like they kind of like they're like sommeliers.
They
of
size
cheese.
you up.
So
They're
that's
like-
it's
So
like
they
a big
test
thing
them or
in
what?
cheese.
They
He's
test
built
these
for
guys
this
out?
cheese.
Yeah, so what they do is it's like the Olympics for cheesemongers. That everyone flies in from like around the world for this thing.
Okay.
And then they like have all these like events they have to do. So they have to make like the perfect bite, and they have like the best cheese, meat, jam, whatever like little things they want to do, and they make these like whole displays and like have these like crazy cheese things, and you like go around, you try like 50 of like the best bites that anyone in the world can come up with, and
Yeah,
then
that's awesome.
and there's like judges and like and then they have like events on stage.
Damn,
You have to
that
cut.
sounds
You have to cut
delicious.
like a perfect quarter ounce by just eyeballing a piece of like a
They
wheel
put
of
it on the
cheese.
scale.
And cut like a
You're
perfect
heavy.
like whatever like different cuts of cheese, and like how you wrap it, like speed wrapping, and
Wow.
it's funny, dude. And then there's like big prizes, and it's like this big rowdy party, and like this whole all this shit's going
I
on.
just like that they're called mongers, dude.
Yeah, dude. But I feel like it's funny. Like I feel like they should have that for this industry too, where it's like you have to like eyeball like a perfect ounce of weed, and like they weigh it to like see who did like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
said,
Quickly,
bud,
can you then
like the
package it
bud
up?
Who
the
can-
bud
yeah,
tender
who can chop it
Olympics.
up.
Like it's the same.
That's fucking funny. Man, you've really gotten into it with us this past hour. I really appreciate you stepping into DC and fucking giving us some fun here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
You want to close off with any other like words of wisdom or inspirational sentiments from yourself?
Oh boy. Get weird or die trying.
Get weird or dry trying. I love it.
Put it on the tombstone.
Well, Danger, bro, thank you. This has been
Thank
a
you,
fucking
guys.
fun one this hour.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming out to DC, making it happen with us. It's a good one. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out, and you've always supported me and doing different stuff, and
We always will,
Absolutely,
man.
it's
man.
cool to come back and kick it here. So,
Yeah, bro. Safe travels. I hope you don't have any hectic times with the new RV.
oh yeah, I'm sure there'll be many, but it's all part of the game, you know.
That's life, baby.
Throw a
That's life.
Molotov at it.
Thank you.